first, I've got a lot of questions. One of them comes from what document do people need to prove what date you started your business? It's in Texas. It's on this document, and it'll show your start date. And this is public information. And it'll say, why is it there? Details right there, 4/21/10. It's all public information. So if your bank's asking you about this, this document, you want to tell them, you want to print this off and give them as your start date. It's the one they're going to use. It's another question that came up quite a bit. Also, let's see here. Texas Secretary of State. Is it still being shared? Let me see. Share. Resume share. Yeah. Okay. So this is the Secretary of State. There's a couple of banks that have asked for your, instead of just your corporate information, they've asked for your actual letter of good standing. And you have to go in here and apply. I applied for mine on Thursday night about midnight, something like that, 10, 11 o'clock, something like Thursday. And I got mine in the mail today, in the email, and it basically says I'm in good standing. So if you need one of these, it's $15, and you have to go in here and order in copies and certificates, and you order online here, and you can order if you need an actual letter of good standing, which is in some of the packages I'm seeing. The other thing you need to make sure is you give them a copy of your driver's license. That also came out late, that people wanted their driver's license. So if you're stuck trying to find your articles or you're missing something, this is where you go and you can order all that state-related stuff that you may need. Get back to, there's probably more questions. I'll get back to chat here in a second. Okay, that's filing. Okay, chat. Okay. Let's see more chat. Okay. Okay. So updates. I've not heard from my banker today. I've not heard of anybody that got funded. But if you look at, I think the place I saw it yesterday was Twitter. There's a Twitter handle that's giving all the updates on the bank loans. If I can find that Twitter point. And it's pretty good because it's actually updating on the loans. And shoot, oh, notifications, yeah. So in here, in Twitter, there is a group of coronavirus. How bad is America? And then there's an update on the loans I remember seeing. And as of Friday, they had distributed somewhere around $4.3 billion in loans. So that leaves $345 billion left. Okay, so there's like about 340 billion left, but I don't suspect it's going to last more than through the end of this week, is what my guess is. From what I'm hearing, the banks, and I'm also hearing other people saying that their banks have said the date you open a business is irrelevant. The date you open the business is absolutely irrelevant. I got clients that open the business in December. They're going to qualify because they had payroll last year and they're being harmed this year. So if you have payroll last year, you want to do a PPP. If you don't have payroll, you have to do the EIDL, which is SBA loan disaster relief is right. Don't go to those silly. Well, I hate Bing because it just wants to send you. Everybody wants to make a buck right here. So in here, this is your EIDL loans and loan advance. You have to generally have payroll related to this to get an employee advance, but it's not the PPP. It's a different program than the PPP is. Your screen, resume share. Okay, I think everybody can see this. So if you have your sole proprietor, you can file these. These are the SBA loans. I've not heard anything back on any of these. On these loans, the COVID, oh, it didn't even take you. Click here. Yeah. So it's crashing because normally when you click here, it should take you to the screen where you go in and fill out your paperwork. So I'll give you an update. When I did mine on, gosh, when did I redo it? Friday? I think I'm number 1,600,000 in line, and I was 6,000th in line on Tuesday when I started. And so it's probably important that if you've not gone online on the website, on the SBA website, that you go ahead just to get your name in there and get the processes. But I don't know, I don't have any idea how that process is going to work. I'm waiting on my banker to call me back and give me an idea of what the impact was. So yeah, I filed on 4/12, 10 minutes later, 8 minutes later, and it was 6,000 people had filed in between the times that I filed. So, no. So you don't need to file for any loans if you don't want to. This is not about things you want to do. These are things you need to do to keep your business going. That's what it's about. So do you need to file a PPP or need to file a disaster loan? No. If you're selling face masks, you're probably making hand over fist money. You probably aren't going to get a loan anyway because you're making too much money. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think you need to file for what you think you can get. So the disaster loan is online. You have to prove when you go to the bank at some point, you have to prove how you've been harmed. Patients aren't coming in, they're not getting their teeth cleaned, whatever the situation. My restaurants have closed down. Everybody's got an issue. And what you've got to do is figure out what your issue is, call it COVID-19, and hope and pray that somebody puts money in your bank account, which at the moment, I've not heard of anybody getting a check from anybody yet. So I don't know that that's actually, you know, how far along all that really is. So let me see, any other questions? Yeah, so when I did the disaster loan, I went from being 6,000th person to 1,611,000. So I don't know if those are going to work at all. Who knows? I have not heard back on any of them. I turned my first paperwork in on like Tuesday, turned in my second set of paperwork in on the 12th, and I guess, the 12th, the 7th. No, the 2nd, sorry, 4/2. So yeah, I filed that on 4/2, and I filed the last one on the end of March. So if anybody needs to, I would continue. If you've not heard anything from the SBA on the EIDL loans, I would reapply. All that happens is your number goes way down to the very end. The 330 is not a real number. No, 1099s do not count. 299, 1099s do not count. No, no, no. Every person that gets a 1099 needs to call and apply for their own individual PPP loan. Bank of America, yeah. Bank One, no. I mean, I have sent a bunch of people directly to my banker, and he is now telling everybody, he is basically telling everybody that he can't help them. So if you don't already have a loan with somebody, that's where you're going to be stuck. Because I'm even hearing the sole proprietors who have no loans are being put at the back of the bus on all of these. So I'm interested to see if that's the case, but I don't actually know for a fact if people are being put at the end of the bus for being sole proprietors or not. But that is definitely what I'm hearing. So one person did say, I have two loans. So I contacted both my banks, and both my banks were willing to work with me. I only chose one to go with. I chose the one who was working the hardest. And the others, I just, just didn't even send the paperwork back to him. So I'm guessing nobody here is, I know some people on here have actually filed last week. Filed on the 4th, Thursday the 3rd or something. If anybody, I guess nobody's gotten any money back or heard anything. And PPP is not online. I didn't get any of my PPP from online. I got it directly from my bank. I called my banker and he immediately emailed me the application. I would pick up the phone and call your direct banker. Tara, okay. All my meetings are on YouTube. I'm not really sure. Patterson CPA LLC. Oh, Patterson CPA. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel. Wow. Okay. Patterson CPA. Yeah. Share that. So, Abdullah, so when we put these out, do we also attach the documents that went with some of these? No? Okay, that's a good question. So, I don't know who's on here. Is Amber and Susan on here? Huh? Well, we have the portal now. SharePoint portal. We just don't know how to let everybody have people have access without having access to all the rest of my 150,000 tax returns. So we've got a wall issue right now. Otherwise, we can send them all out in email. You could always email the tax at cpatexas.net, and the ladies there will absolutely help us and send these. I've been saving. I've been saving all of these documents and everything else. And I think I put some in here on this document. There's something in the share supposed, but you can always reach out. There's not many people on this call. Most of the people I know have already applied and they're waiting for loans. Oh, yeah, you cannot file the PPP loan online. Yeah, that's what Alex said. Okay, that may be true. I don't know. My bank sent me all the documents on Wednesday. I finally got him back the last pieces on Thursday and Friday. So I didn't see anywhere you could file PPP. PPP is different than EIDL. EIDL is on the website. And share. Yeah. Okay. So this should be what's being shared, the coronavirus. So that's this, and then you have to click in here. Oh, see, it's trying to do it. Yeah, see, I can tell that's being shown, but you can see that I'm trying to get into that website, and it's having a hell of a time. So if you've not filed for your EIDL online, this is where you do it, and you have to do it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Somebody says here, Capital One wants you to apply online. That's the first bank that's told me to apply online. Every other bank is doing paper. B of A, Wells Fargo, Frost, all those Chase, all those I know we're mailing paper to. So don't know anything about Capital One. One of the documents is also a really cool document that somebody sent me. I'll pull that up. Okay, so anybody that is trying to figure out what they need for the information, um, demographic issue. Okay, so we could also email this thing out too. This is called. Let me share this. Okay, Golden. This guy friend of mine, Jerry, put this together over at Golden Pies for Piner. Anyway, we can send this out. What it is it's a real good information log to kind of answer these questions that ultimately kind of come up. And we've saved it. I stole it from Jerry. He let me use it. But and this is what they've set up to help kind of their internal customers. They're sending it out. We've been sending these things out too. And it really is to get you going on some of the information that you may need. It's not all required, but at least having this basic information tells us something. Have you begun the process for 7B? That's the EIDL, yes or no. Have you applied? I put yes, I'd applied, not been funded. So, I don't know how that's all going to be, what kind of corporation. So it's a good little form to use to actually gather the information. You do this per entity. So client name, and then your tax ID, which I don't see up the top here. Owner percentages. Anyway, this is per tax ID number. Oh, tax information export. So anyway, and I know that some people are using these. There's one question that I keep getting asked. Let me pull up the Excel spreadsheet. That is the example. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. And this is what I'm hearing. So when I did mine, one of the questions is, can we get this number? Sorry. Is this really the amount we can borrow, or is this the amount? And there's still questions about it. But if you look at the form that Peiser put together, they ask for all of this information, rent, utilities, and they ask for that on there. Yeah, Tara, just ask the girl. They'll email it to you. We're gonna put it on the server someplace, and it's on the meeting someplace. But this is what my banker sent me this. But I imagine that's gonna be very similar spreadsheet you'll see out here. And anyway, it just kind of gets you started. But I don't know whether when I put this together, these aren't exactly my numbers, but they're similar. I don't know whether he's going to cut me a check for this or cut me a check for this. My hope is I get a check for this. I just don't know. Because he could. Yeah. Okay. My staff's sending out emails to some of these. They're watching. Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody with PPP online. It's all been I put a package together and it was about 30 pieces of paper, and it's, and then I scanned them, and I think I showed everybody this. I put it in an organization like this. Let me share this. Okay, so you can see when I put this together, I put my organization, my paperwork in an organization with the numbers, and then I wrote a letter that explained it. So, and the letter goes through and does all this. They did ask for a driver's license that was new. What did they do with the driver's license? Patterson driver's license. Anyway, so I had to email that to him this morning. I need to put that part of my packet. But having this, the most organization you can have, the better off you are. Guess you probably know that. Okay, any other questions? See any more questions? Yeah, spreadsheet. Yeah, we'll send those out. Okay, yeah, it's the first meeting had about 60 people, the second one about 30 people, this one about 10. So it's sort of working the way I figured it's going to work. Most of the people have probably already applied. I've already heard that they're running out of money. I've heard some banks are telling their customers that they need to wait to the next loan package is being worked on in Congress. Okay, other loans. So yeah, so there's 5 different packages, right? There's the $1,200 per person. There's the emergency. This just came out also. Forget where I just saw that. The emergency, if you have a really sick people, I gave that to Susan. If you have somebody on staff that's a real employee and they're really sick, that's what you want to use. You want to use their emergency because that comes off your 941. But I don't know what all the paperwork is. My wife in case here trying to chase down. We've not had any clients right now with an actual sick person, so I don't actually know of anybody that's been paid for 2 full weeks that was sick. So I don't exactly know how that program exactly works yet. So that's 2 programs. The third and fourth programs are the 7A and the 5A, which are SBA programs. And that's where you kind of do your EIDL. You apply for the SBA at the EIDL on that. And then the last one is the PPP. Yeah, the 7A and the 5A are typical SBA loans. Most of us have done them. They require this much paperwork. I understand that the 5A and 7A loans are going to be very little paperwork, but nobody's gotten back to me, not even the IRS. I've applied 4 times now for the EIDL, and I've heard nothing back from anybody. And I did it twice. I've applied, and twice my wife has applied. So I'm trying to figure out whether or not they're actually working or shut down or whatever now. But the 7A and the 5A, those are those typical long packages, 2 years of tax returns, 2 years of financials, Yeah, I don't know, but so when you did the EIDL, they place you into the type of 7A and the 5A. When you apply, they figure out, do you have more than 100,000 employees? That goes to this program. You have less than 10,000 programs, it goes to this program. You have less than 500 programs, they've got all different programs in there. I don't have any earthly idea. They're all independent because the independent banker, and along with the SBA person, will decide what you're required to have. as far as the 7A and 5As, and I've done them in my life, and they're pain in the rears. But those are traditional SBA loans, and if you have an SBA loan, they may want you to refinance. Great question, Dr. Sil. It's a great question. Call Susan, call Casey. If you've paid them for 14 days and they couldn't work and they could not answer the phone and they couldn't do anything, then yes, there's a potential that you could take that off of your 941. I'll be interested to see if that works, because I'd like to see one of those work in live action. So we need to probably reach out, and then, and I'm not quite sure how to go about applying for that emergency loan. I know it's on the 941, which means there's not an application, my guess is. It's a process, not an application, which is different. My guess is you'll have to prove on your 941, I don't know, with a statement. I don't know what they're going to do. Call Sally at home and say, Sally, were you really working? You know, I don't know exactly what they're going to do with relate to that person. But if you've got a self-quarantine person and they're unable to work, then yes, you potentially could you could get reimbursed on your 941 for that. So let's stay on top of that. Let's figure out what that is by April 31st, April 30th, and figure out if that's how it works. And we'll use you as a guinea pig. So a little bit of recap. The PPP is based on payroll, or if you're a sole proprietor, what your net income was. That's what the PPP. It's all about giving people money to pay for their current bills that they have to pay for ongoing. So it's, you know, we pay for the maid, we pay for the guys, the janitors, you know, so that's what they want you to do. If I get down 2 weeks from now and they've not stroked me a check, I'm probably going to let all those people go, because at some point I can't just be paying all these people on the come. So my goal is to figure out how that really works sooner than later, and hopefully hear back from my bank later today. Yeah, so yeah, Betsy, well, let's figure out whether they have to be sick or not working. That's a great question. Are they sick or are they not working? I'm interested to understanding that a little bit more. But you know, if you're paying somebody 40 grand a year and you could get $4,000 right off of your 941, my guess is, and not have to pay some of your payroll taxes, you're going to be a happy camper. So because that's going to be the best money, because you're basically not giving the IRS money. So the best money you can get is money you never give them. And second is they give you a loan that gets forgiven. So we will post this short video back on our YouTube channel in case there's some questions. I know I've been generally answering these. I don't think the chat shows up on those things. We're trying to learn a little more about how this works. There are, and I got texted one today, there's a website out there that will help you with it. And I was very amused by it. SBAdisasterloans.com. Let's go look at this. For $4,995, they will be happy to put this package together for you. And if any of my clients pay $5,000 to some idiot to put their package together, I'm probably going to fire them too, because that's a waste of money. But SBAdisasterloans.com, and they're getting people $49 for a 30-minute video. The guy posted a 30-minute video charging people $49. Who knows? I don't know. But my goal is to keep my clients in business. So try to get them some money versus everybody in the world to learn how this works. my goal is to get my clients to apply first. And since I applied as early as I could, I'm hoping to be used as a guinea pig of when money actually, how it actually flows and works. But I look every about 30 minutes and no money's hit my bank account yet. Yeah, hi, Brian. So I'll recap. Basically, there's a couple of programs. The PPP is the program you need to be involved in. That's your bank. Call your banker and ask for the PPP program, and they will reimburse you for real salaries, no contractors. For those of you who have lots and lots of contractors, you have to have every single contractor needs to file for their own PPP loan or potentially forgiven loan. And I know there's some confusion. I hear the word grants. It's not a grant. A grant is something you're given never to pay back. A forgivable loan is you take out the loan, you agree to pay it back, you meet criteria, you don't have to pay it back. So it's a little different than a grant. Great questions. If you reduce your business and let go of a bunch of subcontractors, how does that hurt? Help or hurt? I don't know. Yes, the PPP applies to anybody with a sole proprietor or a W-2. If you're a single member owner like I am, I own 100%. I count. I take my salary, divide it by 12, multiply it by 2.5. They're going to stroke me a check that if I pay myself again for the next 2 months, they're going to forgive it. It's the best deal I've ever had. Yes. Doesn't matter how many people. Contractors don't count. Only employees. So if you're like some of these guys that have 40 contractors, but they pay themselves $200,000 a year, you get a $100,000 credit. $100,000 divided by 12 is 83 times 2.5. They might stroke you a check for $21,000 that if you continue to pay yourself, you don't have to pay it back. Pretty good deal. So call your banks. Everybody get on with your banks because the banks control the PPP and eventually they're going to control the 7A and the 5A also. But the process with the 7A and the 5A is the SBA kind of approves you. Then they say, who do you bank with? And they say, oh, okay, you bank with Frost. Great, then I'll put you together. But the PPP says, we don't want to talk to you, the SBA. Nobody at the government wants to. You go straight to your banker. You prove to him that you're going to keep paying people, and he'll give you our money. See if I can pull this website. Let's see if this thing is really true. Yeah, I saw this guy $5,000. SBA disasters. Disaster. Let me share this. Oh, this actually looks like the SBA website, maybe. Okay, so let's see. Seeing this website Monday through Friday, help disaster loans, hospitality, retail. Oh, there they are. $49 SBA walkthrough. There you go. You could drop 5 G's. Oh, and you get an hour final meeting with an attorney. Maybe he can read more than I do. Who knows? $5,000. Boondoggle. But they'll screw a bunch of people for sure. So yeah, I don't know who these guys are. Be interested to see who these guys are. Very interested. It's probably people that are sending people to us, and I probably have to pay these guys money, and I get referrals, is what I'm guessing. But anybody that wants to be, I suggest everybody puts them together themselves because it's just not that hard. I put mine together in probably 15 minutes. Okay. Oh, let me go back to, what did I see? Chat. Okay. Brian, it's your bank. Your bank. And I did hear in Arkansas, I think it's Arkansas, Bank of the Ozarks. Anyway, that some of the small banks may not be participating. My guess is they're not sophisticated enough, or I just don't know what the deal is. But I also did hear that for those who have maybe bigger companies that have money in the market, maybe they, that there are third-party markets that are starting to do some of this for a fee. But be careful. Don't pay a bunch of money to a bunch of yahoos. It's about keeping people employed, not necessarily stealing all your money. So, okay, the documents you need are whatever the bank tells you you need. So when you call your bank, the bank's going to tell you, I need this list of stuff. And I showed everybody my list of stuff, and it's like 10 or 12 documents. Your, CP 575, your tax ID, where your website is, so you're in good standing, all of that kind of stuff. So all that is part of the package. Your bank will tell you what the package is, though. Let your bank drive that decision. The questionnaire, that's a good question. That questionnaire, I think, is for all kinds of stuff. I think it was just generic to gather information on that questionnaire that I showed you. It's we'll put it out there. It's something that CPA firms are trying to use to gather the information for their clients or show them what they may or may need. Because I don't do the bookkeeping for everybody. I don't do payroll for everybody. My clients that are calling me for payroll, I'm helping one the other day and realized that over the weekend, I don't do his payroll. Couldn't find it anywhere because it's an ADP. My bad. Didn't know where to go. So yeah, you call your bank. Your bank is the one that's going to get your packages together, whatever they're going to do. The PPP is through your bank. The other two online loans eventually will be through your bank. But these disaster loan assistance packages, these they take 5 minutes and do them online, and you may already be too late. The average loan on Friday was $314,000. There was about 1,175 of them or something. They spent $4 billion. I looked this morning to see if there was any updates on the weekend, but they said there weren't any updates for the weekend. So whatever shows up today is being processed by the banks for tomorrow. That'll include partly the weekends, because the weekend the banks worked on Saturdays. I know mine did. All right, any more questions? So, no, Rex, I will not loan you some. I have barely enough money to keep my employees fed. But I might I might be able to loan you some money at a very high interest rate, Rex. Just kidding. But yeah, it's gonna be, I could clock in. You're funny, Rex. Yeah. All right. Well, other thoughts, questions? Yeah, Brian. Absolutely, maybe. If your bank asks for a profit P&L or a balance sheet, and you haven't done your accounting for 2019, and you want us to do your accounting for 2019, you're going to have to send us all the bank statements. Because if he wants a P&L and balance sheet for 2019 and you haven't done it, somebody's got to do that. So yes, I don't know about me, but if the banking's got the right, the accounting's got to be done, your bank's going to ask for a profit and loss, a P&L, your payroll summary from last year. It's going to ask for a number of documents. People send me emails saying my big email, they couldn't figure out how to log in. So I must have confused people with the link. It's all new to me. So I'm not involved in many of these. So I'm involved in the ones where we're doing payroll for you. You need your payroll summary. So if it's in PayCycle, call Casey. It's not hard. I got 30 clients now know what PayCycle is. They all learned how to log in over the weekend. They all learned how to go and download their own payroll summary. They're all shocked that they were like, well, I didn't know this existed. Oh no, we've only been doing that for 18 years for you. No, or I don't know, 2011 we went to PayCycle, something like that, 2010. So maybe 10 years. But anyway, so all that stuff's available. So your payroll stuff, if it's QuickBooks, then that's where you get some of your information. Remember, whatever estimate, whatever you're doing, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of my loan documents are exactly the right number. Why? Because I put them together in 15 minutes. And every time I go back and look for something, I find something little. But my bank has also not called me and said, Larry, come sit down with me. I got a check for you. Let's sign some paperwork. When he does that, I'm going to drive over to Frost. I'm going to sit down and he's going to say, let's tweak these numbers. And these are right. Yep, this is the number. Now sign off on this last number, $26 million. And I'm going to go and retire. Never to be found again. So we'll see what he says. But don't sweat it. A lot of non-professionals are putting these together, millions and millions. What you want to do is get in line first, and then we will tweak the numbers when the bank comes and says, why does your payroll number look so high? Oh, crap. I forgot it's buried $20,000 worth of subcontractors in there. Forgot I need to back that out. That'll all happen. It'll all happen when they go through the details and they're doing their underwriting and they're doing their, just like a mortgage process. When the banks are doing their final due diligence, he's not going to loan me $26 million that is going to be forgiven, although I'd like him to. But he's not going to, because he's going to look at the rest of the stuff. If the banks are out of money, that's a great question. I heard on the news last night that Pelosi's actually put in another package together and the Republicans are not happy. So I don't know whether there'll be another package, but we'll see. So the EIDL is not the PPP. When I was talking about the money running out, that's the PPP. That's only for, was it 349 billion, something like that. They only posted 349 billion for the PPP program. And I know they spent 4 billion on Friday. So what is that? 369 divided by 4 means they got 92 days worth of money roughly. I guess. Or the spike will go up, probably go spike. There's not $92, there's not 92 days worth of money there. There's probably 2 weeks worth of money there. Texas alone has payroll of $204 billion last year. So if Texas alone, divide that by 12, they have a payroll of $117 million a month. Billions are going to go away quick. Oh no, $17 billion a month. 17 billion times 2.5, that's 42.5 billion just Texas. So it's going to go quick. And there was a question earlier about your employees, your contractors. From my analysis of the spreadsheet, contractors never get play or anywhere in it. So I'm not letting go any employees, but my part-timers are probably cut back, although I'm in busy season. So, but for the other people, I wouldn't get rid of your employees, because part of the spreadsheet says to be forgiven, you can't fire a whole bunch of people. And the subcontractor people can go get their own loan, although many of them are not sophisticated and many of them are going to miss the window. Fact of life. All right. Like I said, we were trying to figure out how to post these things on our YouTube, just in case people can flip through and have any questions. We'll try to get some of the questions up there. and some of the answers. But as of right now, I'll probably do another one of these on Wednesday or Thursday. I'll probably do one after if money comes through, just so people can see, how did it finally work, Larry? And I can show them, this is the check I got, and this is the math they did. This is the QuickBooks I had last year. This is the formula that we used. This is what they included and they did it. And this is my check. Once I know that, I'm going to know how the process works. And Abdullah and I are going to get back to doing tax returns. So, well, Michael Presley's on here. So yeah, I've got yours on my desk, Michael. I know you're looking for it. So I've got to get back to tax returns. I know a lot of people are working. That's why I'm doing these, because I probably have 300 phone calls with people asking many of the exact same questions. Can't tell you how many subcontractors people want to pay, but you can't. It's just your employees. I was talking to one guy who last year had a bunch of contractors and they made him be employees. I don't remember, it's Erickson or somebody. And that guy called me and he's super happy because he's going to get a big check now because he converted all of his subcontractors to employees last year. But he's in the mood to get a big check. Yeah, we're all working on all tax returns. So if there's tax return, yeah, I only know one that's because it's right here on my desk. I got stacks right here. I'm trying to get through. You can see I got ones behind me. Stacks. Believe me, we're going through trying to get as many of these cut up. But one, I need especially my small business that are really struggling. Restaurants, caterers, all these guys are being just hammered. So anyway. If anybody has questions about your tax return status, please email tax. We're working on we have a room now. It's not a real room, it's a virtual room. And all the returns are in these virtual rooms. So they can look up my name and find out that it's in Larry's office or it's at Larry's home. So we're working on all those and they're tagged. And so I'm generally working in the office because my wife hates me most of the time. Or she threatens to kill me when we're at home. So I'm here at the office probably middle of the day, most of the days, and then working from homes in the mornings and then in the afternoons, if anybody needs us. But like I said, if there's people are waiting on returns, just reach out. Remember, tax return money is due July 15th now. Even if I finish it and you owe money, I'm encouraging you're welcome to wait till July 15th to pay it. Those kind of things. We'll write some notes. Also, people are coming back and saying, Larry, you finished my return, but it says my due date is April 15th. I know. The software has not been updated. Just mark out that date and put 7/15. They know what the rules are. My software has not been completely updated. I can't overwrite that date in the due date in my software, but the federal government knows. Send us videos of her being mean to you. Oh, yeah, that'd make me famous. All right. But anyway. That's it. I will let everybody go. And like I said, reach out to the staff. You can reach out to me. I'm plowing through emails best we can. But what I'm really trying to do is get tax returns done and get back with the people and then get those tax returns out the door. And that's the next focus for me over the next 2 weeks, assuming I get a check. If not, I'm going to just fire everybody. Don't tell the people on the phone that. Okay. All right. Be nice. Everybody be safe. Let me know if you need anything.